Hello, beautiful humans. Hope everyone is doing good, finding positivity. I want to give just a quick update on my situation, which hopefully can help inspire everybody. I've made I've made many changes in my life in the past month, like the most in the past month compared to the last, let's say, 10 years. And a lot of the changes I've made, I went from being addicted to video games since I was, young, addicted to, smoking pot, addicted to distractions, numbing myself with food, bad food, drugs, alcohol, obviously drowning in, overthinking, drowning in depressive thoughts, just a lot of negativity, right? And through doing a lot of this inner work I've been doing, and not just meditation, but really finding solace in solitude, like truly finding stillness within myself and within my mind, and philosophy. Philosophy has helped me immensely, and through doing all that combined, it's given me such clarity because I've been able to kind of, not easily, but in doing this consistent work and changing my inner landscape, really changing the way I talk to myself, a lot more optimism. Now, mind you, it's not all, it hasn't all just been perfect and good. Like, is still trying to tame that beast within myself and really embrace the darkness that we all have within ourselves. It's constant work, and so it's it's something that I've taken very serious, very serious. And through doing all this work, I was am able to kick a lot of the addictions, and not the addictions too, but stop the procrastination, even just in little activities throughout my day, so I'm able to just more motivated to exercise or to cook for myself or to clean, simple things, do laundry. and so yeah, so I really suggest to people that are lost and confused, and they don't know where to start. They want to make a change, right? But they don't know how to make that leap. Hopefully this can help push you there. Just do it. Just do it. Baby steps, whatever you need to do, just do it. Start doing a little meditation today. Challenge yourself, with the solitude. Really, you got to turn off everything, turn off all the screens, the music. I know that sucks for a lot of people, and they hear that, oh, but music makes me happy. And music has saved my life, probably like most of you. But even that, like, I've had to just find complete silence throughout my days, and face these demons within myself. And at first it's scary and it's difficult, and you don't want to do it, but it's necessary. And it's necessary for your longevity of your life. So, the sacred fusion, as the Rosicrucians might say, is combining philosophy, science, and spirituality. And, I'm very fortunate to be interested in those things. So if you're a person that maybe has no interest in all three or just one, whatever, just don't put pressure on yourself too. And what I mean about that is, like, say if you take a little baby step, and then you're like, oh, but I could have done more. Okay, maybe you could have that day, but tomorrow's anew, right? Tomorrow's anew. And so what I mean is don't put these harsh deadlines, especially when you're doing this inner work. I've learned through the Taoism and cultivating flow state within myself that, just go with the flow. Go with the flow in life. So that doesn't mean, sometimes it's hard to explain because, people might take the words literal. People might perceive them different. So what I mean is just give yourself space to make the mistakes, and just don't beat yourself up. That's the whole point of this too, is doing the proper inner work. You never want to be like, I feel bad because I only did 20 minutes of meditation, but I plan on doing an hour. So that's my point, right? So give yourself that space, especially when you're first starting this, spiritual journey or this change, whatever term you want to use. But just know that the constant repetition of you doing this work every day, it gets easier, and then it's forming new addictions, forming new patterns. So do a little bit every day, and then you'll see after a couple weeks, months, or whatever, that it starts to become pretty second nature. And then you get to a point where you start to gain some beautiful clarity in life. And that's when it gets, for me, that's where I'm really finding my peace, is through this clarity. And it's a wonderful feeling because your intuition starts getting really strong. And the way I kind of like to explain it is, it almost feels like a natural psilocybin buzz. And that's a beautiful thing for many reasons. But to be serious, it really feels like your senses, without taking any substances or whatnot, are actually peaked naturally. And so it really, when I first kind of started feeling that clarity, I was kind of shocked. I was like, wow, like, I didn't know I can achieve this, frankly, in a sober mind, to be totally honest. And so it's kind of a paradox thing too, especially coming from someone who's done a lot of psychedelics and, DMT and, a lot of powerful psychedelics, right? Where I thought I could only achieve those moments of, complete awareness and introspection and all those things that you feel when doing those substances. But you can achieve it you can actually achieve it way more effectively with a sober brain. So I would suggest really push yourself on this path of fixing your inner landscape. I like to use that term, as you can see, because it just makes so much sense. It's really cultivating just not just, positivity and optimism, but really cultivating this change that gives you such empowerment in your life, and then that chains to so many things, right? Where you start to, for me, I don't try to control as much all the time, and even with time, I'm I'm kind of slowly pushing time out of my thoughts more and more. So it's still there, obviously, but now I find I'm not just looking at the clock. Like, I'll use an example of like when I'm exercising. I'd always do this thing where it's like, hey, exercise, and then I'd be like, okay, I've been doing 20 minutes and 10 more minutes, and that's enough. And so now when I exercise, I just go. I just go. I go until I get tired and I can't do no more, right? So really, people that are struggling with this and how do I start, and to tell you the truth, I have no perfect answer. Like, everybody's journey and every individual is going to be triggered by different things and different external forces. But really, get yourself on this path. Even if it's one little baby step, right? Just get yourself on there. Get started somehow. If this video can help, if other videos on the internet, there's been a ton of spiritual videos exploding on the internet. A lot of spiritual awakenings you see. And then frankly, I see a lot of celebrities too, and other people online really starting to talk about this. Music artists. And so I believe I know that there's a huge shift going on in the world. It's very obvious, actually, when you start to kind of connect the dots and see the pattern. So hopefully this can help anybody. Hopefully this can help one person, and we can have that rippling effect that I wanna cultivate, because that's what we need to do. And anybody that is really on this type of path, I think we can all agree, whether you're on this path or not, and whether some people want to admit, that we're that some people, being in denial it's a thing I see a lot too. What's happening is you see people want to change. I see it in their faces, certain people, and they just don't know how, or they're in denial because they want to stay in their spot where they think it's still safe and comfortable. But again, part of Taoism, going with the flow, is understanding that today may be good, tomorrow may be bad, and vice versa. So when you can embrace the good and bad in life, that's when you kind of stop trying to control every little thing in your world. And when you stop trying to control everything, there's a beautiful feeling in there. And it's again, the universe is full of paradoxes, right? So it's a beautiful feeling, but it's also scary too, right? Especially when it's kind of newer, and especially as most of us, I would like to think we want to plan our future, and that obviously is important, especially financially. You have a family and whatnot. So I totally get the fear of that, but there needs to be some form of letting go. And again, it comes with time, but it really comes from trusting your intuition, which I know part of these spiritual awakenings is intuition is a huge thing. It's a top word, because everything I think in the world right now that distracts us and keeps us confused, that intuition it's kind of forgotten about, right? It's a muscle that hasn't been used for a while for a lot of us. So when you start tapping and really, trusting your gut, you start to go where you need to and float where you need to. So, I'll say it one more time. I went from playing video games about 10 hours a day, 10 or more hours a day, easily, to I can barely muster to play like a half hour. I can barely get any motivation to even want to like look at the TV and the game for more than 20 minutes, because I'm like, oh, I could be doing something so much more productive with my life, with my time. That all of our lives and time is so valuable, like every minute, right? And think about how much we waste by just overeating and distraction and numbing and spending time with people that really don't care about us, chasing relationships that damage us more than anything. So these changes are necessary for us to just frankly find peace within ourselves. So don't want to talk your head off too much, but just understand that you can do this. Like I have full belief, no matter how, at this point, it doesn't matter if someone says to me, oh, for instance, why would I have children? Why would I want to bring children in this world, in this cruel world? Everyone has a different opinion. And obviously, if somebody doesn't want to have kids, I'm not just going to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, you should have children, right? But I'll tell you right now, we need to have children to have the next generation. So coming from a brother and a proud brother and a proud uncle, kids are important to me. And even if I wasn't an uncle or a brother, they still be important to me, because they're children and we need to guide them. And I want the future generations to be healthy in the mind, body, spirit. And I want them to have a chance. So I don't think there's a hope that is very much alive on this end in my heart. And that hope will never waver. Never. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care how negative people think the world is going, and the world's just messed up, and why would I want to bring kids into this world, right? Frankly, that's all crap. It really is. Because those of us that have not only hope, but a true belief for our future, we won't waver. We won't just go off that path because a few people think everything's gloom and doom. Okay, if we were that easily pushed off the path, then we wouldn't be able to make any changes, right? So really stand strong in this belief of we can unify, because we can. This is the power of the mind. And the more and more I learn about the universe, about philosophy, about spirituality, it just reinforces that beautiful belief and hope more. And it's growing every day. And it's funny, it's another paradox, because, if anybody, sorry, I'm kind of jumping here a little bit, but if anybody thinks that there's a life and there's a world with no pain, no evil people, no trials and tribulations, no adversity, they're mistaken. You're greatly mistaken, because paradoxically, without the pain and without the evil and all these bad things, we can't grow. So we need, like Marcus Aurelius says, the obstacle is the way. Go through these doors. Go through these find, you want to look at a door of adversity and you actually want to smile at it and embrace it and jump through it. And so if you have a mindset where you can't wait to jump through these doors, and you see tragedy there, you better jump through that door. And the best way to do it is with a smile and really embrace it. Embrace it fully. So go through that door, kick it down, because you have you have such a beautiful gift, every human, a wonderful gift of resilience. And don't let anybody, anything, any exterior force, exterior judgment, don't let it throw you off this path. Because no matter what anybody says, propaganda, form of brainwashing, nihilistic views, dead all that. Because the change is within us and it's happening now. So, love you guys. And let's change the world.